You are watching Pausing with Erik. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 304, Feral Cities. Today we are pausing and taking a moment to reflect upon how our cities have changed socially. So basically, our major cities in Europe and North America have changed a lot in the last 10 or 20 so years. They have become more feral, more chaotic, more unsafe. To our help, we have this wood cube, diaphragm. Diaphragm is an acute skill. It's a skill for our acute situation. So our acute situation, as a typical kind of situation in life, our acute situation is when we are caught off guard, when we are startled, or when we are suddenly approached by someone or something. So our acute situation is highly uncomfortable. Often we like to think that we can avoid acute situations altogether, that we can avoid being startled. But it would seem that we can't. They seem to find us even when we make the most meticulous planning. They seem to find us in one shape or another nonetheless. And that's why we have some skills to deal with those acute situations. This is the image for diaphragm, acute skill diaphragm. So you can see it's a stylized image of a man. And you see the marked area there on his body. That's where our diaphragm is located. It's the muscle tissues just below our rib cage. So right here, that's this soft part, so right sort of at the top of our stomach or abdomen. You can do this with me if you want. If we feel here and push a little, we can feel that we have a lot of emotion in this area. This area is responsible for sort of harboring a lot of our social energy, our social dynamics. So when we feel scared and submissive, our diaphragm will make us want to do this, lean forward like this, and tense up like this. And when we feel confident and cocky, our diaphragm will want us, or proud, just a nice feeling, proud. Our diaphragm will want us to sort of go like this and make ourselves big and push it out. And our diaphragm is a very wise friend to get to know. That's what we will do today. We pause and follow our diaphragm when it says stay or leave. Diaphragm is how we receive help from our subtle intuition. So I argue that our diaphragm is one of the seats, or the seat, of our subtle intuition. And I think this is almost like an art form that has been lost to a high degree in these times, to sort of cooperate with our diaphragm as we are making our decisions, navigating through life. We pause and follow our diaphragm when it says stay or leave. Okay. What does this mean? How does our diaphragm tell us to stay or leave? So, when our diaphragm says stay, it says that by being calm, by feeling nice, feeling relaxed, feeling proud, feeling like there is room, there is space, there is air. This kind of warm feeling. Not hot, but warm. And when our diaphragm tells us leave, this is a very uncomfortable feeling, and many people don't like to think about it. So sometimes in life we stumble upon a situation when our diaphragm starts vibrating. It's sort of like this, very, very uncomfortable, like a fluttering vibration in our diaphragm. It's very uncomfortable. And when we get that feeling, we want to hide that we feel that vibrating sensation in our diaphragm. It's very unpleasant. And we can feel very compromised when we feel this physical sensation. And that is, I argue, our subtle intuition telling us that something is very dangerous here and that we should leave. This oftentimes is difficult because we have our identity, we have our image of how we view ourselves and who we are supposed to be socially, what role we are supposed to have. And sometimes our diaphragm starts vibrating and tells us to leave when our pretensions about ourselves tell us to stay. So there is this sort of clash between what our diaphragm says and what our sort of preconceptions about ourselves is telling us. Very difficult. So we get uncomfortable because in that moment we are in this sort of conflict with ourselves. And that's why we get so nervous, because we don't want other people to see that we are in a state of inner conflict. But we are, all of us from time to time find ourselves in a state of inner conflict whilst in the company of other people. But what I am proposing here is that we pause when we get that feeling and sense that sort of inner conflict in us. We pause and allow ourselves to receive help from this subtle intuition. And I say that we should listen to this subtle intuition. I'm saying that our subtle intuition, our diaphragm, knows better than us. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we shouldn't overrule our diaphragm. We shouldn't second guess our diaphragm. We should listen to it. We should follow it. It's intuition. It's deeper than thoughts. It's deeper than words. It's just knowing, but not knowing why we know. It has this animal quality to it. It can be scary, but very useful. Very wise. Okay, how can we make use of diaphragm now then in today's subject, feral cities? I'm gonna draw like a cross here. And this is like a compass, perhaps. So we are seeing now that our cities are becoming more unsafe. It would seem that socially we are lacking the cohesion right now to make for safe cities. The cities in Europe and North America now inhabit heterogeneous populations, people from different parts of the world. Different peoples, all in one and the same city. And it seems that right now the different peoples of our Western cities have not found any safe way to coexist. So consequently, our cities are turning feral. We are seeing a lot of fear between groups, a lot of conflicts. We are unfortunately seeing more violence between different groups, different peoples. And the feeling of hope is sort of on the decline. So I think it can be useful to sort of make 4 different distinctions here in this sort of new social landscape. So we can talk about our cities. But we can also talk about the countryside. Because our countries have both cities and countryside. And it's impossible to understand our feral situation in the cities without also including the countryside. Then we also have our sort of current stress, the stress that we're feeling right now. Current stress. Current stress. And then we have what we can call our solution stress. So right now, perhaps this is the most obvious, our current stress. We are stressed about the increased violence in the streets. We are stressed about the riots. We are stressed about the crime. We're stressed about the hostility, the everyday hostility between peoples. It's stressful. And it's more stressful in the cities than in the countryside. So naturally, we long for solutions. We don't want to feel this way. We don't want to be in this state of highly stressful conflict. So we long for solutions. But the thing about solutions, the thing about taking care of things is that it also comes with stress. Even positive stress is stress. Even positive change is stressful while we make the change. It takes effort from us. So we are stressed about our current situation, but we also fear the stress that we will feel from the solutions. And each and every one of us can make use of acute skill diaphragm to sort of navigate ourselves in this sort of compass. How does my diaphragm feel when I am in the city? How does my diaphragm feel when I am in the countryside? How does my diaphragm feel when I'm in an acute situation of current stress? How does my diaphragm feel from the solution? So some solutions that we are already seeing sort of both being proposed and being rolled out, being applied, are that we segregate. We stay at home at times when we perhaps would like to be out on town. We move away from each other. We move into separate areas. We try to stay away from each other as much as possible. Another solution is to try to integrate as well as we can, to try to cooperate as good as we can, to sort of find the common denominators that we share, our shared humanity. That's also stressful. It's stressful to try to sort of think positively and focus on the positives. It takes a lot of effort from us to sort of focus on the sort of things that work. There is also stress from the sort of protective measures being taken. For example, surveillance. There's a lot of cameras right now. There are like thousands and thousands of smart cameras, AI cameras being installed throughout our cities. That's stressful to sort of live our lives knowing that we are being recorded and identified in real time. That's stressful. So, like this, there's a lot for our diaphragm to sort of react to. Current stress, solution stress. Maybe we go out in the countryside where there is less stress. And then when we come back to the cities, our diaphragm feels worse than when we left. Perhaps new problems arise in the countryside that wasn't there before as well. New current stress in the countryside as well, and new solutions being presented in the countryside as well. Could be that the financial opportunities in the countryside are on the decline, so it's harder to have a full life in the countryside. More people moving into the cities, being forced to move into the cities. That's stressful. So I guess we will see this sort of dynamics going back and forth between current stress and solution stress, and between the cities and the countryside. And I argue that we are better off cooperating with our diaphragm, not second guessing it, but allowing it to tell us to stay or to leave. And not be falsely prideful that we should be able to handle every situation, because we can't. Sometimes situation simply is too difficult or too dangerous, so we will have to sort of leave. Sometimes that is the case. But also, sometimes a situation might look dangerous, but our diaphragm tells us, no, it's okay. Just sort of sit tight and pause. It's okay. So that's also true. Our diaphragm is our subtle intuition, and it just knows very fine, old stuff. It just knows. That's it for today. Thank you.